Hey there. Ready for a deep dive into atomic habits?
Absolutely.
I'm already finding some really thought-provoking stuff in these excerpts. Let's jump right in. We all have these big goals we're chasing, but James Clear, he makes his point that it's not always about the goal itself,
Right.
but the small daily habits that really make or break us.
Yeah, it's like that saying Rome wasn't built in a day.
Exactly.
It's the consistent effort, the accumulation of all those tiny actions that leads to significant change over time.
So easy to get caught up in wanting instant results, but Clear reminds us that real lasting change, it happens gradually.
Yeah.
He structures this whole book around these 4 steps for habit formation. He calls them the 4 laws of behavior change.
Yeah.
Cue, craving, response, and reward.
Okay.
He's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does.
But there's some real depth to how these work together.
It is fascinating how he breaks down something as complex as human behavior into a simple, easy-to-grasp framework.
Yeah.
Like, take the idea of cue, for example. It's the trigger that sets a habit in motion, but it's more than just a reminder, right? It's
Right.
about our brains constantly searching for patterns and predicting rewards.
So we can use this to our advantage.
Exactly. Clear argues that we can literally design our environment to make good habits more obvious and bad habits harder to access. Let's say you're trying to eat healthier, right?
Okay.
If your fridge is stocked with fresh fruit and veggies, but your go-to bag of chips is sitting out on the counter,
Right.
which one are you more likely to reach for when hunger strikes?
Oh, for sure.
It's about making the healthiest choice the easiest choice.
That makes so much sense. It's like setting yourself up for success before you even realize it.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the cue.
Uh-huh.
Next up is craving.
Yes, this is where things get really interesting. Clear highlights a point that I think really resonated with me, and I'm curious to see if you feel the same way. But craving isn't just about willpower.
Right.
It's about strengthening those neural pathways in our brains.
Okay.
The more we repeat a behavior, the more we crave it.
Interesting.
Like we're building a muscle, but for our habits.
That's a really powerful way to think about it. It's not about forcing ourselves to resist temptation, but about cultivating a genuine desire for the positive things we want in our lives.
Precisely. And it begs the question, what are those positive habits that you, the listener, want to cultivate? What actions are you willing to repeat to rewire those pathways and make those cravings work in your favor?
I love that. All right,
Yeah.
so the response is the action itself, the habit in motion. But here's where Clear throws in a little bit of a curveball.
He does, and it's brilliant. He emphasizes making the response as ridiculously easy as possible,
Okay.
especially when you're just starting out.
Yeah.
He calls it the 2-minute rule. The idea is to break down a new habit into its smallest possible step, something you can do in under 2 minutes.
So instead of saying, like, I'm going to write a novel, you'd start with, I'm going to open my laptop and write for 2 minutes.
Exactly. It's about removing the friction, lowering the barrier to entry, because, let's face it, we often overestimate our ability to just dive in and stay consistent, especially at the beginning, right?
Yeah.
But by making that initial step super simple, we create momentum.
I'm remembering when I was trying to make meditation a regular habit,
Yeah.
like I would put so much pressure on myself to do a full 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And I would always psych myself out.
Right, right.
And then I was like, okay, I'm just going to try sitting for 2 minutes, focusing on my breath.
Yeah.
And you know what? It was a game changer.
It's amazing how such a small shift in perspective can make such a difference.
Yeah.
The 2-minute rule isn't about accomplishing a huge task in 2 minutes. It's about building the framework for long-term sustainable change.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got our cue, our craving, and our response all lined up.
All right.
Last but not least, we have the reward, that sense of satisfaction we get from completing the habit. Clear refers to our brains as reward detection machines, always on the lookout for what feels good.
Always.
It's true,
Yeah.
but here's the key.
Okay.
Clear emphasizes the importance of intrinsic rewards, the ones that come from within, rather than external sources.
I was just thinking about that. That is so key.
So instead of rewarding myself with, like, a cookie after a workout.
Yeah.
I should focus on how energized and strong I feel.
That's it.
It's about finding the joy in the process itself.
Exactly. Because if the reward is truly aligned with the habit itself, it becomes self-sustaining.
Right.
You're not relying on external motivators. You're tapping into the inherent satisfaction of the activity.
This is making me rethink my whole reward system.
Me too. It really makes you think about how we're wiring our brains, you know?
It does. Okay, so we've got these 4 laws: cue, craving, response, reward.
Right.
But Clear doesn't just, like, drop it there.
No, no.
He also talks about this idea of finding the right game to play.
Yes.
You know, like the habits that really align with our natural strengths and interests.
Finding that sweet spot.
Yes. He calls it the Goldilocks rule.
Mm-hmm.
What's that all about?
Well, we can't force ourselves to be passionate about everything, right?
Right.
But we can lean into the things that come naturally to us. The activities that we find inherently rewarding.
Okay, so it's not about, like, forcing myself to become a marathon runner if I, like, totally hate running.
Exactly.
Maybe there's a different type of exercise, something that, like, energizes me instead of draining me.
There you go.
That would be a better fit.
It's about working with your natural inclinations, not against them.
I like that.
You know, when you find that sweet spot, when a habit feels both challenging and engaging, you're far more likely to stick with it.
So true.
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
What are your strengths? What activities light you up? Those are the seeds of really powerful habits.
Yeah, this is making me realize how important, like, self-awareness is in this whole process.
Oh, absolutely.
And speaking of awareness, Clear also dives into how much our environment, it really impacts our habits.
It's amazing how much our surroundings influence our actions without us even realizing it.
It's true.
Like, think about it. If you want to read more,
Okay.
but all your books are like tucked away in a box in the attic,
Yeah.
how likely are you to actually pick one up? But if you keep a stack of books on your bedside table, it becomes effortless.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you're priming your environment for, like, the behavior that you want.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, you know, Clear takes it a step further. He suggests that sometimes the best way to change a habit is to change your surroundings entirely. Let's say you're trying to be more productive,
Yeah.
but your home office is like cluttered and chaotic, you know?
Yeah.
Simply rearranging the furniture, decluttering the space
Right.
could be enough to like shift your mindset,
Totally.
create a more focused environment.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I've definitely noticed that, like, when I'm working at a clean desk, my mind feels clearer too.
Right.
Okay, this next idea from the book, this totally blew my mind. Clear argues that changing our habits is often about changing our identity.
It's so powerful.
It's not just about doing things differently.
Yeah.
It's about seeing ourselves differently.
Exactly. It's about aligning your actions with the person you want to become.
So instead of, like, aiming for a goal like, I want to lose weight,
Yeah.
it's more like shifting your mindset to, I am becoming a healthy person.
Yes.
So instead of focusing on the external outcome,
Yeah.
you're focusing on the internal identity shift.
That's it. And he even suggests a technique called pointing and calling, where you actually verbalize your actions as you're doing them.
Really?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, I am a writer as I'm writing,
Yes.
or I am a healthy eater as I'm, you know, like, choosing the salad over the fries.
Precisely. It might seem a little strange at first.
Yeah.
But it's a powerful way to bring those actions into your conscious awareness and really reinforce the identity that you're building.
I'm definitely going to try that.
Yeah. Let me know how it goes.
Okay, so we've got all these amazing tools and strategies for building better habits, right?
We do.
But what about those times when we, like, hit a roadblock or motivation dips and we just feel stuck?
Sure.
What does Clear have to say about that?
Well, you know, he has a whole section on dealing with boredom.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the importance of finding joy in the mundane,
Interesting.
which is incredibly relevant, right?
Right, yeah.
Because building mastery in any area often involves doing the same things repeatedly.
It's about, like, embracing the process even when it's not, you know, glamorous or exciting.
Exactly. He emphasizes that true accomplishment, true excellence, comes from consistent effort over time,
It's so true.
not from, you know, bursts of inspiration or fleeting moments of motivation.
Oh, that is so true. Ugh, it's like we live in a culture that's, like, obsessed with instant gratification.
Yes.
But real change, lasting change, it takes time and dedication. It's like that quote, the master has failed more times than the beginner has even tried.
Oh, I love that one.
It's a good reminder, right? That setbacks are they're a natural part of the process.
Yeah.
And it's really our willingness to keep going, to
Right.
like embrace those, even those mundane moments, that ultimately leads to mastery.
Yeah. And that's what I find so empowering about Claire's message. It's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about being persistent,
Yes.
showing up day after day, even when we don't feel like it, and trusting that those small, consistent actions, they will compound into extraordinary results over time.
It's like giving ourselves permission to like be patient with the process.
Yes.
To celebrate the small wins.
Absolutely.
And really just focus on building a life that's aligned with our values, what we aspire to do and be.
It's about recognizing that we're not just building habits.
Right.
We're building a life, brick by tiny brick.
I love that. This has been such an insightful deep dive.
It has.
We've covered so much. The power of tiny changes. Those 4 laws of behavior change. Cue, craving, response, reward.
It's a framework.
The Goldilocks rule.
Yeah.
The impact of environment, identity, and like we were just saying, the importance of embracing those mundane moments.
It's all connected, isn't it?
It really is, yeah. It's like it's like a tapestry almost of how we create lasting change.
And it reminds us that we have the power to shape our habits, and in doing so, shape our lives.
So powerful. So, listener, as we're wrapping up this deep dive, I'm really curious, what's resonating with you? What's one small change you're ready to make today? What habit are you ready to cultivate?
Yeah, get started. Even the smallest action, repeated consistently, can have this ripple effect,
It's true.
leading to those extraordinary outcomes over time.
Don't underestimate the power of those atomic habits.
Yeah.
Keep digging deep.